Hello everybody, welcome to a new video here in Speed Shop. So today we go further on calibration of the ECU, testing the injectors and the ignition system, output testing, and if I have time I also do the calibration of the coolant temperature sensor, because I cannot find the right calibration for the sensor because I don't know which manufacturer, the original manufacturer it is, because it's not Bosch sensor. So at first I already had the fuel pump running. It's a pulse width modulated fuel pump from Fuel Lab. Early videos you could see I had installed. Installed it. It makes a lot of noise because I bolted it to the chassis. Not very handy straight. There's only 1 millimeter of rubber in between, so it's very noisy. So I'm going to change that. So I'm going to hang it up fully in rubbers. I already hanged it in a few tie wraps just to have a look what sound difference is. It's massive. So I will show you underneath the car and show you how the fuel pump is running and what the sound is. And at first, if you're new to the channel, this is my S124 V8 turbo project. Have a look in the right corner for you. There's my logo, you can click on it. See all the other videos, and don't forget to have a look on JanesSpeedShop.com. A link is over here. So, underneath the car. So from previous videos, some people have seen that I made a bracket for it. That's going to be removed fully because it's not how I want it. At first what I did yesterday is I made an extra hole in the subframe here. And that's because the fuel line was going over just like the back in the back. So there was just, if I had the fuel line like this and I screwed it off, well, I have 40 liters of fuel in the tank, so there's more than half. I think these tanks are 60 or 65 liters, so it's pretty full. There was still not coming any fuel out of the line. So you can then start the pump and it will suck out all the air. That's a possibility, but yeah. I don't like that idea that the pump is not getting any fuel when it's just standing like this. So in this position you can see the fuel line is hitting the drive shaft, but when the car is on the wheels it will not. And I will make a support for it that the fuel line will never hit the drive shaft when driving. So also with the exhaust I will make something in between here. It was already like this because it was going up, so that's not really a problem. So yeah, I have to have a look what's the best way to do it. I have a small sweating piece over here, I think. A little bit of fuel, so I have to tighten up some stuff a little bit. It's on the return line. For the rest, yeah, so I removed it. So I will I'll put the camera down and I will just put some power on the fuel pump, then you can hear what the noise is underneath the car. So this is a pulse width modulated fuel pump. So it's running now on 40% flow. So I think when you put it on a higher flow, the pump is getting more, of less noisy. I don't know how to say that, but yeah. When it was connected to the car, it was really, really bad. So I think it still makes, it's a noisy pump, but yeah, what would you expect? A pump can deliver more than 1000 horsepower for fuel. So it's not the same as one that you find in a small car. So that's it. Have a look what the sound is. So, got my fuel rail lifted. As you can see, all the injectors are out. I got 2 towels to protect the rail and the injectors that are, so that the tips will not hit anything, so cannot be damaged. So to show you how this works, you got on the diagnostic over here, you got injector and ignition output test. So you can do this on several ways. It's just a menu. You can just select one and test start, and then it will just inject the ECU with a pulse width of 5 milliseconds, and then that's what it's going to do then. You also can do it with a single pulse, then when you push it like control and then the cylinder, it will just inject one time every time you push it. The same thing counts for the ignition. Then you have a dwell time you can adjust. So you can also run it, I'm not going to do it, you You can also run it in firing order. I'm not going to do it because I only have one cup and then I inject fuel all over the engine. But I'm not going to do that. What I also want to show you, I have a pulse width modulated fuel pump. So I have it in here. I hope you can see that all the time, but I have it over here. And if I then push it, have a look if I can go to that menu. Then I have a setup for this. So when it's cranking, it's running on 40%, minimum also 40%, and maximum is 80% of the fuel flow. So from 120 kPa to 250 kPa, it will range, interpolate between 40 and 80%. Pump is running on 250 Hertz. I can change this because I read in the specs that it should run above 500 Hertz. That's better, so I will do that. In output configuration, first I want to show you that when you go to like fuel, and you have fuel priming, when I put the ignition key on, it will run for 6 seconds and then it goes off. That's not very easy when you want to do a test like this. So I tested this when I go to outputs, and my output for the fuel of a how you say that, the pulse width modulated signal from the fuel pump, it's an inverted signal, so it's the way around, is running from GP out 1. That is this fuel pump pulse width modulated control. I have on 5, so like everybody has normally the fuel pump on here. I had now always on, but I can put it on. This was on this fuel pump relay. This was how my menu was. If I want to run it every time, I can only put the time on 29 seconds to run the fuel pump. Yeah, that's not very handy. So my fuel pump is running also low when I put this output on always on. Then it will just switch on and it's activated. And I cannot see how fast it's running then because it's still giving 100%. If I run it on the key, it will show 40. But I know the sound difference in this with this pump now because I run it a few times and I checked it. It's not running on full speed, so it's still running on low. So I think it runs on 40% when the engine is running because the map value is below 120. That's what I think. It's not showing it, but yeah, I can hear it flowing on a low flow. If you run it on high flow, you can still run it for a few minutes without any problems, but it's not running high flow. So what I'm now going to do is put the camera down and I will put this back on, always on. Then you can hear the relay clicking, I think. Yeah, I hear it. I hope you can also hear it. Then I go to injector and ignition output test, and I can do it on this way, but it's easier for me because I'm filming. I will put it on what is this? Ignition output, selected outputs. Yeah, this. So I'm going to do cylinder 1 and 2. The other ones I already did. I let them flow for a few seconds, I think a half a minute, because they are new and it's very nice to see. So I'm going to put the camera down and we will start this test. So put the fuel pump on, fuel pump is running. You can see 300 kPa, around that number. Fuel temperature is 5.9. So now I have go to this bar and you can see injector output 2. This is cylinder 2 and I put test. You can see it is injecting. So if I stop the test and I will go to full single output and I will push control 2. This is also how you can do it. So we also cylinder 1, start the test. activate it again. So back in the car, there are no door panels on, but the rest of the interior is in. So I can now show you the, or let you hear the sound. I got the relay output, I hope you can see it, but it's a little bit bright. Output 5 is back on fuel pump relay. So I can close this and then you can see, have a look, output, fuel pump, it's still on 40%. I got the output is over here, is now on 100. So if I now turn off the key and turn it back on, you can see it's now running on 60%. So just to show you, I got now fuel pump control not on inverter, just on normal, and now you can hear the difference. And now it will show here 40%, but in real life it's running 60. You can hear it also by the sound. So if I now put it back on inverted, you can have it in the menu here, inverted. Now it shows 60, but it does 40. That's how it works with the inverted. It's a little bit strange. So I now changed it, so now it should say 60, but it's running slower. You can hear it very easily, but it still shows 60. So, ignition output testing. Got a fuel pump relay off, so it's out, and I put the output of the fuel pump on always on, same as with the injectors testing, so the fuel pump normally stays running, but I only have the output now live. So that means that my coils are live. I have two relays, one for this bank and one for that bank. I don't say that's needed because the original wiring loom has just one plus wire to all the coils. I have just separated it because I think it's easier. If something happens in the future, you can easily find which bank it is. So I have a 40 amp relay and a 20 amp fuse. I have now this bank live, so that I can do these two amplifiers live. So these are the signals. They're going into two, for example, if I have cylinder 4, that what is now having two spark plugs in, it's firing on two inputs, so also on two outputs of the amplifier. So the earth connection is going to the engine, of course, and then you have these signals going in here. So if you can see, for example, cylinder 4, these are the way around on it because the outputs are different. But if you can see it here, you have brown and gray. That is cylinder 4. It's brown and gray. It's over here. So, and then there is one plus wire coming from it. So that's how it's installed. So if I now go on the laptop, we have the same menu as with the injectors, so I can just select output. You can do complete firing order testing, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to do it. If I have select output, that's this case, then I can just select cylinder 4. I will first do it by hand. Pulse single output. So don't make the mistake to use control, because that's for the injection. Then you just inject the cylinder with fuel. My fuel rail is back in there, so yeah, I don't want it. Ignition is working with the Alt key. So Alt key for me is then Alt cylinder 4, Alt 4. So if I have the injectors of both fuses on there and I press Alt 4, you can see it. You see both spark plugs fire. So that's one way to do it, so that wiring is correct. If I go to, for example, selected output, I can just select cylinder 4. If I then start it, it will just do it automatically. and I can just stop it. So it's very good. Also got my fuel temperature, oil temperature, intake air temperature, and this is the coolant temperature now, 2.66 degrees. Yeah, still 2 degrees different, but I think this is better than 8 degrees different, because before it gave -8 or something, or -3, so it's 8 degrees different or something, so that's too much. So how can you set up this sensor? I can still give it an offset to get it straight, but yeah, I checked it now. First I checked it in the freezer, so it was -20. Then I put it outside here in some ice that was around 0 degrees, -1. So check the resistance on the sensor, and then put it in house later for half an hour and check the temperature. Then I put it in some water from 85 degrees with the temperatures, and then check the temperature every 5 degrees. And then I put it in oil from off 120 degrees. And I had a whole list, and I checked them with this, and it's you cannot, maybe you can fill every temperature in there as you want, but you can also do the NTC sensor setup. If you click it, you get a setup over here. You can fill in 3 temperatures, at least 20 or 10 degrees apart from each other, so you can better take as far away as possible. So I took the coldest one, -15, and then 30 degrees and 110. That's what I filled in, and then you click on save. And so this is the temperature. 110 I got 147 ohm, on 30 I got 1832, and -15 is in between here, and that was 2100 or something, -15 in here, 2100. So, and then it will interpolate it, and then you get this this temperature scale. So I can fill it in completely. That's also a possibility you can do, and then you can interpolate the temperatures, and then you get also the scale that you measured. So that's also a way to do it. So for now I leave this like this, because it's now 2.6. I can offset it like 2 degrees to get it in range with the rest of the temperatures. Maybe that's something I can do. And yeah, I will check, put all the temperatures in, but I'm not going to do that on video, it takes too long. But yeah, so this is for it. This is how it works. If you have any questions, let me know. So this was it for this video. So got all the sensors in and all the inputs checked. Only thing I need to do is the ethanol sensor. I got the valve in the intake, boost controller and that sort of stuff, and the crank sensor and the camshaft sensor. So those are left to do. I will do that in the next video. Also put the ignition map in, EFR map, VE map in, and then from there we go further on. And so we're getting closer and closer to the startup of this car. So pretty pleased with it. So we will see how fast this car will run. So it will happen in the next few weeks for sure. So hope you like this video. If there are any questions about this video, leave some comments below or send me an email through my website. Also look in the right corner, you see the other videos of this project, and you can also look at my website. Link is over here already, janjesspeedshop.com. Have a look over there, and thanks for watching, and see you for the next time. Bye bye.